Hola, minasan! Welcome back for another round of story reaction. So, with more SCP animated, gonna cover 087, The Stairwell. Of all the weird things, of all the strange things I've seen so far on SCP, what does a stairwell do? What can a set of stairs do to people? We don't know, but we're gonna find out soon enough. So, let's put on the headphones and see what the SCP Foundation found out.
The first thing that tips the Foundation off to SCP-087's presence were the reports of numerous unexplained disappearances on campus. There were plenty of rumors about what might be behind them, but field agents suspected that the true source of the vanishing would be something beyond civilian imagination. All anyone knew for sure was that everyone who had gone missing was last seen in a certain administrative building on the university grounds, and that the disappearances only seemed to happen when the elevator was out. The campus was soon flooded with Foundation agents.
Well, see, now there is the problem. The elevator and the stairs are clearly conspiring with each other. They're in it together, and they're trying to do everything they can to eat people together. It's one big conspiracy, man. It's the elevator stair conspiracy. You're gonna need to get some escalators going on here.
Creating a barrier around the administrative building and the presumed habitat of SCP-087.
Caution.
Nobody else could get in, and hopefully whatever was inside could
Caution.
get out. One of the Foundation's lead scientists was flown in to consult on the investigation. What could have been behind those students disappearing? The doctor's preliminary interviews with university staff who worked in the building yielded some interesting details. Strange noises, like banging and even a faint, shrill crying, would be heard from a door that led to a no longer used stairway in hallway 3B. Staff in the building had no reason to ever take these stairs, especially considering how many of them reported a strange sense of unease when just standing outside the dorm. The only reason someone might take those stairs is due to elevator malfunctions. In that instant, the doctor had put it all together. The staff they interviewed had their memory wiped with amnestics, special chemicals used by the Foundation with the power to delete human memories.
Why?
The Foundation only used them for staff or civilians who had confirmed contact with an SCP, and the doctor knew that they had a live one on their hands. The staircase. There was something terribly wrong with that staircase, and it was the SCP Foundation's job to find out what, before it made anybody else disappear. This is the story of SCP-087, otherwise known as the Endless Staircase, and the three...
I would call the case, not the Endless Staircase, but the staircase elevator conspiracy, because we all know that the elevator and the staircase are in it together. They're in it together. It's obvious. It's obvious.
Doom journeys down into its murky depths. The doctor was more than eager to begin research into the staircase and its frightening, anomalous properties. After all, you don't claw your way up to being one of the Foundation's key researchers without being brave, and perhaps just a little bit deranged. As was standard, once a perimeter was secured around the staircase, the good doctor requested a selection of D-Class personnel for testing. For those not in the know, D-Class is the Foundation's polite way of saying cannon fodder. The doctor was sent 3 D-Class prisoners for use in his investigation of SCP-087. The first, D-8432, was, according to official documentation on the incident, a 43-year-old male of average build and appearance and unremarkable psychological background. This man once worked for the Foundation in a more official capacity, but he was given the often deadly demotion to D-Class due to a dangerous mistake handling SCP-682 that led to the deaths of several other agents. Now, it looked like...
What is 682?
The doctor explained his mission to him. Explore the staircase, gather data, help us find out exactly what we're dealing with here. If you come back alive, there may even be a promotion in it for you. And with that promise, D-8432 was given his loadout, a 75-watt flood lamp with battery power capable of lasting 24 hours, an audio headset, and a handheld camcorder fitted with a transmission stream.
That's messed
an audio
up.
headset that would allow him to communicate with Dr. Bright. D-8432 was then pushed through the door in hallway.
It's like, get in there.
According to declassified Foundation files describing the staircase, SCP-087 is an unlit platform staircase. Stairs descend on a 38-degree angle for 13 steps before reaching a semicircular platform of approximately 3 meters in diameter. Descent direction rotates 180 degrees at each platform. The design of SCP-087...
That's pretty pretty specific for a set of stairs. Very, very specific design. Seriously, that's a very specific set of stairs. It goes old school and then like boxed angles, and then it starts becoming 180.
Limits subjects to a visual range of approximately 1.5 flights. But in D8432's mind, unlit really didn't seem like the right word. He would have chosen all-consuming darkness. Despite carrying a powerful 75-watt lamp, D8432 was only capable of partially lighting the platform he was standing on.
Oh.
And the illumination only stretched down 9 of the 13 steps to the next platform. When D8432 observed how little help his lamp was giving him, he was instructed to shine it out of the doorway into hallway 3B. When he did so, the light seemed to shine far further than it ever could in SCP-087.
Oh, wow.
Already, the beginning of the anomalous activity was obvious. Everywhere else, darkness is just the absence of light. In SCP-087, darkness eats light. It was like a tangible black mass that only a certain amount of light could survive, while the rest just wouldn't show.
So basically it's a black hole. And they found the black hole in the stairwell. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. And yet yeah, I got a joke in there, but we'll keep it clean.
D8432 swallowed hard over a lump in his throat. The door to hallway 3B was closed behind him, and he was ordered to descend. Surviving to see that promotion was feeling unlikely, but it's not like he had a choice. If he tried to escape SCP-087 before he was permitted, he'd be shot by SCP Foundation field agents on the spot. So he followed the high-ranking orders and began to descend the steps to the next platform.
Yo, the Foundation's brutal.
The makeup of the staircase itself seemed abnormal. The base and walls were a very plain, dull concrete with a metal handrail. The only thing that seemed unique about it so far was the strange light-bending properties. That was, until he reached the second platform down, and he heard it, a soft, echoing cry. A child's cry. It was shrieks of panic, or maybe even pain, echoing up from below. He was asked why he had stopped, and he explained the crying sound he'd been hearing. It sounded like it was coming from far down the stairs, maybe 200 meters below him. He could just make out the words, please, help, and down here, coming from the darkness. But the team outside the stairwell couldn't hear anything, so they asked him to descend further. Another platform down, and they could hear it too. The unmistakable cries of a terrified child. Please, help, and down here. D8432 was ordered to keep going, and only stop if he noticed changes to the...
Now, why is it that this person but for a very smart organization, they sure didn't ask the question of why did the person walk on up the stairs and meet halfway, or at the very least call out to the person and tell them to come and meet halfway. This is a very, very, very dumb decision on their part. Oh, just keep going down. No. How about I call the person, find out they're really there, and if they respond back, come back up, then tell them to come on up and meet halfway, and then make it a rescue mission.
Visual environment, or in the sounds he was hearing. D8432, knowing his life was on the line, had to keep going, and descended another 20 flights of stairs before stopping to remark that the sounds of the child hadn't gotten any closer. They still sounded just as far away as when he'd first heard them. He was told his observations were noted and pressured to continue. Within half an hour, D8432 had descended a full 50 floors with no...
Dang! No, that's not possible.
The volume of the child's crying...
No way. He went down 50 floors. There's no way he could get back up those 50 floors. That's too exhausting. It's exhausting enough to go down 50 floors. Now he has to go 50 floors back up. That's insane. No, that. Do you have any idea how many 50 floors that is, especially with the calculations that they give? Oh my gosh, this guy is as good as dead.
Had remained consistent throughout, as if it was moving away from D8432 at the same rate he was descending. At this point, D8432 reported that he was feeling uneasy. The doctor said that this was understandable, given the circumstances. He'd been watching what little there was to see over a live video feed the entire time, and and something about the truly bottomless nature of the staircase and the ever-elusive crying was undeniably eerie. But things were about to really take a turn for the worst. As D8432 stepped forward towards the next set of stairs, he froze. There was something on the platform below him, barely illuminated by the light of his 75-watt bulb. It was a face, vaguely human in size and shape, but with a few terrifying differences.
Show me what you got.
And no mouth, nostrils, or pupils. And yet, D8432 could feel that this thing was making eye contact with him. He couldn't move, trapped in the thing's piercing gaze.
Well, he's gonna have to get swifty.
The face jerked forwards, suddenly only about a foot away from D432's face, eyes staring into its own. D8432 screamed and ran, scaling all 50 flights in an astonishing 18 minutes before charging out into hallway 3B. There, he collapsed in the exhaustion and the fear of what he'd just seen. Upon reviewing the footage, the strange face was designated SCP-087-1.
Oh, that's a nice drawing.
Fascinating. It was time for a second experiment. The doctor just had to know more. The second test subject was D9035, a 28-year-old male with a history of aggravated assaults against women. He was
oh my gosh, what the?
Except this time with an even more powerful
expendable
100-watt bulb. He was also given 100 small LED lights that had adhesive backs and a battery life of approximately 3 weeks, with which they intended to permanently illuminate SCP-087.
Okay.
However, despite the extra wattage of his bulb, he still couldn't illuminate beyond the 9th step.
Oh.
SCP-087 wouldn't allow it. Having no ideas of the horrors that lurked below him, he descended on the doctor's orders and began fixing the LEDs to the walls of each platform he passed. The LED always illuminated the landing, but the light couldn't pass the first step on either side.
Oh.
The flights of stairs themselves would remain in perpetual darkness. After the second
Wow,
flight,
these stairs are determined.
D935 noticed the same crying D8432 had heard and became uneasy. Just like before, as D9035 descended, the volume of the crying didn't seem to increase, as if for every step he descended, the source of the crying descended 1, 2, keeping them at a constant 200 meters apart.
Ah.
Still, he was ordered to continue his descent and the placing of LEDs even as his paranoia grew. When he reached the 51st floor, he observed damage to the wall and steps. Sections appeared to have been smashed to rubble by an extreme force. As he descended past the broken step, he only felt his fear, anxiety, and paranoia grow. The doctor made note of the fact that SCP-087 seemed to cause instances of anxiety and terror in its occupants, even before they encountered SCP-087-1. As D9035 reached Platform 89, a full 350 meters under the initial platform, he stopped dead in his tracks and saw something staring up at him from the platform below.
Show me what you got.
Face with those dead eyes. He was encouraged to stay calm and try to get better footage of the face, but it charged for him, and D9035 ran for his life. He ascended the staircase at a staggering pace, even passing out from exhaustion and remaining motionless for 14 minutes halfway.
Okay, there we go.
D9035 finally gathered the strength to get up. He scrambled back to hallway 3B. He remains unresponsive to all external stimuli to this day.
Dang.
Staring off into the distance with a haunted expression, almost like he's still there in the hallway.
He
The
got
doctor
shell
wanted to
shocked.
conduct one more test before he ordered SCP-087 shut off from the world forever, and it was the most terrifying of all. The final subject was D9884, a 23-year-old woman with a history of depression and use of excessive force. He hoped that D9884 would travel the deepest yet, and so he gave her the additional supplies of a backpack containing 3.75 liters of water, 15 nutrient bars, and 1 thermal blanket. As far as the Foundation was concerned, she was in this for the long haul, but none of them had any idea quite how right they were. When D9884 entered SCP-087, all the lights from the previous expedition had disappeared. Still, she was ordered to go deeper. She heard the crying of a mysterious child, if it was even a child at all, and again she was ordered to go deeper. At the 496th landing, even as D9884 seemed to slip into a state of mortal terror, once again she was ordered to go even deeper. Every moment, he was hoping to get a better look at the face of SCP-087-1.
Dude, why don't you go down there?
Finally broke. and fled back upstairs. He did. The face appeared, but this time it was mere.
Yeah, this is insane, hands down. This guy running this operation, he really stinks. What a terrible guy. It's like they come back up, you shoot him. sends down people with depression. It's crazy.
Inches behind her, staring directly into the camera with its blank eyes, startling even this veteran of the supernatural. The face appearing caused D9884 to panic and flee, but instead of going back up the stairs to safety, she went deeper down the
Oh,
stairs
wow.
in an attempt to escape it, deeper and deeper and deeper, until her video feed cut out. D9884 was never seen again. In the aftermath of the tests, the SCP was classified as Euclid. It may have been dangerous, but at least it was easy to contain. The door to hallway 3B was replaced with one made out of reinforced steel with an electro-release lock mechanism.
Dang.
It's been disguised to resemble a janitorial closet consistent with the rest of the building. The lock won't release unless a classified number of electrical volts are applied, while the key is turned counterclockwise. And after a few inches of foam insulation were applied to the inner side of the door, staff at the building never again reported hearing strange noises. As for the fates of those lost within the endless turning flights and platforms
Oh,
of
they're boned.
SCP-087, we may never know, but one can only assume it isn't pleasant.
Yeah, this is not a strong one. This was not a strong story. Yeah, this wasn't very strong. Strongly written. I mean, first of all, who in their right minds would go down there? Every single person who went down there. Here's the thing, and this is where I find it to be on the weak side. And that is the fact that these characters here, okay, my man here and my man here were able to make it back up. So that leaves the question of why didn't all the others get back up? So I know they're trying to explain it out by saying that in her panic, she ran in the opposite direction. So let's say that happens. It can't be every single person who went down the stairs. Somebody had to have gone back up. You know what I'm saying? They had to have been a group of people, just as many people going down, running down to escape as going back up. You know what I'm saying? Going back up as it was going down. Since it was never established what this thing does, this floating head here, you know what I'm saying? Given that nothing was established, we don't know if it's killing people or what. But what also makes things even worse is the fact that my man over here, went down 50 flights of stairs. You realize that's basically a skyscraper, right? He walked the equivalent of a skyscraper. They're all walking down the equivalent of skyscrapers, and for some odd reason, they can make it back up with no problem. That's a lot of flights. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, at least the second guy, he tired out and had to get all his strength back. But yeah, it was fascinating that the lights, the darkness eats the lights, and even the LEDs that they planted on the walls disappeared somehow. But the problem is that this is a very easy escapable thing. Like, let me put it this way. If you're walking down a flight of stairs and you're not seeing anything after a couple of flights, there's no way you just keep going down. And because it's not established if this head, makes people disappear, shows up earlier. Yeah, I understand that's mysterious and everything. I totally understand that it's mysterious. It's understandable. The problem is that because everybody's running away, rather than showing some level of attack, it's very hard for me to be convinced that that this floating head, that the stairwell could just easily take people away. Nope, there's no way. So yeah, it didn't do a good. This storyline didn't do a good job um, conveying its danger very well. Um, so I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed with the stairwell on this one because the concept is really good. You know, what I'm saying concept, but the writing for it was just not good. There was just too many holes too many holes because the people who are disappearing, some of them had to have ran back up and got out if they were scared. They, you know, saying like, yeah, so some of them went in the opposite direction and kept going down. I can't believe all of them continued going down if they were scared by that. And because the story here is not establishing one of these three getting, you know, killed off or disappearing from this floating head, then I can only surmise that at least 50% of the people who went down there should have made their way back up. A majority of them, the second they saw that darkness going down, their instincts should have gotten them to go back. Like maybe if they went like 2 or 3 steps down, you know, 3 floors down, you know, saying, and they catch on, then they immediately turn back or something. It's just not possible. So, but because the head is not established of showing up early, but all the way down there with random sounds, yeah, it's just a weak. It makes it very weak. Make this SCP creature very weak, because it needed more polish, basically. It needed more polish because this was interesting potential there. You know, saying there was potential on this one, but without establishing other than a floating head that pops up and scares people, then there should have been more reports from people who got out of the stairwell instead of just leaning in hard and saying, you know, you know what I mean? And not only that, but they're saying that's happening during the elevator, and that's not being explored. Like, is there a correlation between since it's being since they're trying to say there's a correlation with the elevator? The story writer is trying to tell us, the reader, that there's a correlation between the elevator and the stairwell because it only happens when the elevator is shut down. So we needed more explanation on that one. What's the connection? Which could have made it even more interesting. Like I said, you know, like I was saying, it's the elevator staircase conspiracy. Was there something to it? Was there something, you know, unique? Well, was there a mysterious force? And that just got brushed aside. So, yeah. It's I'm very disappointed. You know what I'm saying? But a great concept, but but needed more cooking. It needed a little bit more to simmer. You know what I'm saying? It needed a little bit more thought to convey this, and I believe it would have been well executed. It would have been well executed. So it's unfortunate. So that's it. Very crazy, very elaborate. You know, they even went out of their way to establish the whole entire design of this thing. But the minute they brought the head up, and I think the head wasn't needed, honestly. I don't think the head was really needed. There was no need for the head. I think that hurt it just as much, hurt the story just as much. The storytelling was introducing the head. The noises would have made was 100% made sense because stairwells do echo. They do tend to echo, and that's something that we're very familiar with. But by introducing a floating head, I think that kind of hurt the story writing even more because there was no need of that. The mere fact that it was pitch black, you have weird noises, paranoia will ensue. We all have that experience. It's just you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, if you walk down a dark stairwell or a stairwell with no lighting, you know what I'm saying, you start feeling that, and that was squandered when they introduced the head, and I think the head overdid it. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but nevertheless, I'm sure there'll be better ones next time. So thank you all for joining me. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, follow. You know you'll want to. If you're interested in book readings, head on over to Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com and grab yourself a copy of my novel, The Impossible Man, a strange fantasy story, strange fantasy comedy, chock full of fun. Enjoy yourselves. If you're interested, you can join me up on my Patreon. No obligations. If you wish to, show some support. There we go. And join me on my live multi streams on Twitch and Kick. On Thursdays, I do a rewrite. I'm doing my rewrite of Trucker no Boken, my latest story that I'm posting on shisetsu.com in English and Japanese. 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Thursdays. If you're interested in watching any of my live streams, any of my shows. So, there we go. With that said, I wish you all a good night, a buenas noches, and oyasumi nasai.